We are just a couple of minutes past, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining our Ask Me Anything webinar for today. I have my colleagues on the line, Ellen Benzine and Brandon Peterson. My name is Carol Kennedy. I'm an account manager. And our topic today is adding to job and set job in ApplicantStack. So a couple of areas where you might use this would be, let's say maybe you've got a hire for one of your jobs, but you still want to pursue that hire for another position. Or maybe they're a fit for another position, so you might want to move them into another job to consider them for that job as well. So we'll be sure to cover that topic. It will take just a few minutes to go through that, and then afterwards we will be sure to open up the floor to questions. We do ask that you keep those questions general in nature. Specific questions can be handled offline with your account manager or with our technical support team. So with that, I'll go ahead and hop into our demo account and show you how to move candidates around within the system. So let me go ahead and bring you into my candidate screen. And we'll go ahead and show you. It's really simple. You'll just want to click on a candidate, and you can use Add to Job. That will keep their record in this job that you already have, and we'll go ahead and duplicate them into another job. So again, you may want to use that. Let's say they're a fit for this position, they may be a fit for another position, and you want to consider them for that role as well. Do keep in mind, if you have duplicate candidate records in the system, ApplicantStack does not combine their candidate profiles, and it will create a separate record in the system. What the system will do is give you an alert if that candidate is in another position. We can see here we have duplicates. So I can see my candidate test is in two different jobs currently. So I moved them today from employment applications to registered practical nurse. And you can see that that was created on today's date. So that will go ahead and give you that quick alert just so you know there may be other positions that they are being considered for. Very similar idea if you want to use set job. It's a little bit further down on our page. That will allow you to remove them from this job and place them into another job. So let's say a lot of our customers want to keep one hire per position. That will allow them to hire one candidate against this job or this requisition, and then for reporting purposes, we can move them to another position and keep it clean, one hire per position. Okay, so that's really about it. Pretty easy to move candidates around in the system and help manage your candidate pool. So with that, we'll go ahead and open up the floor to questions. If you could use the questions panel, we will do our best to answer those questions for you. I'm going to go ahead and pop out my questions panel. I do believe one of my colleagues, Ellen or Brandon, will be helping field those questions as well. Those questions don't have to be related to the topic we just talked about. They can be anything ApplicantStack.
Yeah, I'm certainly ready to help, Carol. I don't see any questions yet, but again, they can be questions on anything in regard to ApplicantStack Recruit and onboarding. While people are keying in questions, Carol, you want to talk about some upcoming events as well?
Sure thing. We do have on December 6th, we have an onboard webinar upcoming, and that will provide a complete overview of onboard. We do encourage you to register for that if you would like to see a start to finish review. And we will have more Ask Me Anything sessions coming up in 2023. So those will be announced soon. Please keep an eye on your announcements panel for those.
All right, I still do not see any questions. Wait, we just got one. All right, first question, Carol. How do I set up my dashboard to see applicants? I am new to this system.
Sure. So on your dashboard, I believe you will need to be assigned to that job in order to see that job and to see those candidates. But once you do that, once you're assigned to those jobs, you should see a pipeline summary on your homepage, and that will provide you a dashboard or an overview of what's happening with your position. So you can see who is in each stage of your process. We have a quick link. You can go ahead and click on, for example, that hyperlinked number, and that will pull up the 5 candidates for that new position. Okay, and I think that answers that question.
Yeah, and Mesha, I think that's how you pronounce your name. There was a follow-up question, Carol, that says, do I assign myself to jobs? So that would depend. If you want to see them on your ApplicantStack homepage, yes, you would.
Right. So
yeah.
Whoever currently has access to the job, so in this case, I'm the job owner, I would likely have to go in and make that change. But you would go ahead and edit that job and assign an owner and a hiring manager. So you will need, likely since you don't have access to it right now, whoever has access to that job will likely need to assign you to that.
And then you'll see them on your homepage when you bring up ApplicantStack.
Correct.
Now, yeah, and just to clarify, or just to add a bit more detail, an ApplicantStack administrator and ApplicantStack recruiters can see all jobs and all candidates, and they would use job filters in order to see them if they weren't specified as a job owner within the job itself. And again, you would use job filters. Carol, you want to just show job filters just for a minute?
Sure. You're referring to back on our jobs table?
Yes.
Okay, so this will allow you to filter by your jobs or jobs assigned to another user. By department, by location, is that a full-time or a part-time job? Any of these options here. So does that answer that question?
I think we have. I'm totally new to this. I cannot unmute to ask a question. Mesha, did we answer your question? And while we're looking to see if she's going to input another question, we do have an additional question, Carol, that came through. And this question is from Tina. Can you describe how the system is configured to send out specific documents when a completed application is received? For example, the system will send out a link to complete a background check, but we do not know how this is configured. Can you give me some insight on this?
Gee, that sounds like a one-off, very account-specific question. So the system items are triggered at stage changes. So you're mentioning a link to complete a background check that would go out in an email. An email would be triggered in your workflow. So I will point you in that direction. Your account's going to look different than mine, but if you go to Setup and Configure, Application Workflow, and then you come into Edit. For example, at the new stage, the way my system is configured, an application received email will go out when a candidate hits the new stage. Thank you for applying for a job at organization name. Your application has been received, and so forth. So that is how you would trigger perhaps a link to complete a background check at a stage change. Again, this is pretty account specific. When an application is received, we have things called actions in the system. So our support team may need to help you with that. It's a little bit more complicated functionality. We have actions in the system that can trigger other things to happen. So we might want to take that question offline.
And Tina did say, Carol, that your question, or her question, you had answered, and she thanks you.
Okay.
Yeah. But do you want to mention premium texting, speaking of triggering things at stage changes?
Sure. We did just recently add premium texting, which allows you to trigger text messages at stage changes now. So that is an added functionality to our basic texting. And also under the job, we have text to apply functionality that has been added. So you can create a code word, and that will allow you to have candidates apply. My internet's a little slow. Text to apply, you'll have a code word that you will create, and then candidates can text to that code word and get a link back to the application via text message. Okay, premium texting is an additional cost, but your account manager is happy to help you with any questions on that.
And the benefit of texting at a stage change, it's a couple things. It's consistent, because when you move candidates from stage to stage, then you can trigger consistency with emails and or texts. And of course, we all have our text 6 inches from, us right now, right? So it's kind of a in-your-face type of an alert. All right, so Mesha says we've answered some of her questions. Mesha, I've got an email from you that I will return, and we can get through your other questions. So I'll handle that. But yes, just to answer your question, Mesha, yes, you do assign yourself jobs if you want them to come up on your ApplicantStack homepage when you log in. I don't see any additional questions coming in. Oh, long E, excuse me, Misha, long E. All right. Carol, I don't see any other questions. Let me scroll through to make sure that we've answered all of them. That's all I see, Carol.
Okay. Well, I think we have answered all the questions for today, so we'd like to thank everyone for joining. Again, we do have a couple things coming up. We've got our onboard webinar on December 6th, and we will have more Ask Me Anythings into next year. So thank you everyone for joining today, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks everyone. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.